UMEME handover.
You recall, Honorable Minister, when we look at the archives, I tried to go back and read what made these changes that we are experiencing here. The first reforms. The government was very clear. There was a challenge in the country. Challenge in terms of efficiencies, challenge in terms of fuel connectivity of people to electricity, challenge in terms of technical limited capacity to run the whole supply industry, electricity supply industry, limited investments in generation, transmission, and distribution, and the whole sector was deemed to be not financially or commercially viable. That led to the first reforms, which were implemented 20 years ago. And I'm privileged, Honourable Minister, to have somewhere in my earlier years, as at Ernst & Young, participated in those reforms. I recall the reforms at UEB. I was there. I was also part of the team that worked tirelessly to set up UMEME, verify, reconcile balances and so on at EY. And formally, I joined UMEME in 2006. And I'm glad that I've been at the helm over that period, became the CFO in 2010, became the CEO. Exactly today, I make 10 years as the CEO of the sector. I can say it has been real pressure, 10 years of constant daily pressure, no Sunday, no holiday, all to serve our customers and improve the electricity distribution system. How does the big switch now look like as we hand over to Paul and team from where we started? Of course, the government required investments. Cumulatively, over $850 million was put in. The network, Paul, has more than doubled. You handed over 5,000 transformer zones. We are giving you back 17,000 transformer zones, 44,000 kilometers of lines. You gave me 250,000 customers. I'm handing you 9 times that, 2.2 million customers. Our safety record has been really strong, and I encourage you to keep it, to protect the lives of staff, the public, and other contractors that work on the line. Energy loss reduction was a big issue. We may take it later, but this eats into the financial viability of the sector. At the start, we had 38% energy losses. We are handing over at 16%, and hope you will be improved on that loss number. We had an issue of distribution efficiency, Honourable Minister, meaning that out of 100 units we used to get from transmission, only 50% will be converted into cash at the start of this concession. As we hand over, we are handing over 84% of units we get from transmission are actually converted into cash. That has led to the growth. We are handing over a business. When we received it then, keeping factors constant, it was generating around 160 billion with a lot of subsidies from government here, there. There was a vote. As we hand over, we are handing over with a turn of 2.5 trillion. Actually, this year, considering what we have been working with from the first quarter, it is a $700 million revenue business, growing at an average of 10%. That's what we are handing over. And we believe that should be protected because that goes on to attract investments upstream, downstream, and any generation.
Wow, wait. But boy, inga wakola money. This is a lot of money.
Yeah? We are handing over a growing sector. Growth is very important. We've seen some sectors that grow in the negative. We are selling 5 times volume power compared to the previous period when we started. But more important, Honourable Minister, there's this fallacy I've seen around where they say, oh, the network is falling apart. No, the network is not falling apart. What is happening, if you compare between 2020 and this year, the network is carrying 70% more power than 5 years ago around the COVID time. Now, we are pouring all that power into the system, which requires investment. Actually, framing the question to the President, Honourable Minister, the network requires to be invested in and expanded to carry the load that is being driven by economic development, being driven by the number of connections that we are making through various government programs. So the challenge we are experiencing now is not that the network is not performing. We are loading the network with more volume power without opening the arteries to carry that power. That is the challenge you are facing now. Also, this sector previously used to be a net consumer from the government. Subsidy. I'm glad to note, Honorable Minister, as we hand over, last year UMEME was number 15 in the top taxpayers, which is good. We've come from nowhere. We are fighting for the top 10 position. And we're also recognized by the URA as the most tax compliant payer in 2024, which is a good thing that they are now turning into a net contributor to the government coffers. Not only that, Honourable Minister, we comply with the regulations and so on. Last year, our good regulator in our electricity supply industry, we were ranked the best, most compliant licensee at 90%. I think that's a D1 in terms of compliance. That compliance again is reflected in the way we serve customers, the way we improve efficiencies. As we celebrate these 20 years, I think we have built a foundation. It's not perfect, where the next operator will build on and take the sector to greater heights. Allow me, Honourable Minister, to extend my sincere thanks and a sense of gratitude, first of all, to the President for unwavering support and visionary leadership, especially in the electricity supply industry. Every time I've had the President, you know there is you mentioned something about electricity, about his big four to drive and turn around the economy. Others including transportation, financial services, and cheap labor. And because of its visionary leadership, I recall, Honourable Minister, vividly when he was commissioning BEL after the 2006-2011 crisis, where he said, never again shall we go back into load shedding. Where even people are doubting, shall we?
But again, today we are in load shedding. Amasanyazi gavaako buli lunaku, buli nkya, buli ggulo, buli ttuntu, buli kawungeezi. Kati load shedding gye bagambye yavaawo, yava luddawa, yava mu nsi ki? Wano Uganda we tubeera oba mu nsi endala? Bro, njagala ombulire gwe eggulo ne luli wamwe amasanyazi gali tegavaako. Waliwo kati waliwo kati nga bakyusa bi contract yaabwe nga temulina amasannyalaze wammwe. Lwaki? Gone by these days of load shedding.
Uganda consume Karuma. Have you connected to Sudan? Have you connected to Congo? Shall we consume Isimba? Honourable Minister, I can say those big moves that were made in 2013 to sign off those developments, which now we are benefiting from, have carried us this far. Which leads me, Honourable Minister, to my next worry. My biggest worry is the rate at which power is being demanded. If we don't do anything in the next 3 years, we'll run out of power. I know there are other interventions, East African power pool, we can draw from Ethiopia, we can draw from everywhere. But based on what I see, we need to move fast if we are to be energy secure from a generation front. Of course, the government, general government, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and more importantly, you, Honourable Minister, you have been really supportive. Every time you call, every time I call, things actually move. The local governments have given us unwavering support. You can't deliver electricity without plugging into the LOC system, plugging into the RDC system, the local communities, the security systems at the districts. They have supported us to fight off vandalism, protect assets, but also to fight energy losses. So we appreciate the support. The security services, the police, UPDF, CMI, all those have been very supportive because you can't protect this massive infrastructure across the country without the country support system from the security agencies. Of course, the UMEME board, me personally, they have been very, very supportive to me. I appreciate all the staff and management. You have really done a phenomenal job in terms of driving this sector. And our motto was, we shall work, soldier on until 31st March 2025 at 11:59. That's the motto. And as we speak, staff are working actually, looking forward to 11:59. Then some of them will change overalls, some of them will walk home with pride of what they have been able to achieve in this sector. We thank our financing partners, of course the World Bank that supported us at the start, the MIGA, IDA, the main World Bank itself, you know. They set up the framework for this concession to work. The IFC of the World Bank that gave us support through financing, FMO from Netherlands, Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic, DFCU, and others provide financial institutions in Uganda. Your support cannot be taken lightly. You have created impact because those finances that you gave us, we transform them into assets, which assets have served the country, Uganda, to grow the sector to where it is now. Of course, sister sector agencies, GCL, DCL, TCL, our regulator, the ministry, IPPs, all of you really have made this sector shine to where it is. The capital markets, as a listed entity, we raise capital through the capital markets, has enabled us also to enhance our transparency, enhance our public accountability. Previously, they would think, oh, UMEME is owned by Babunji. Babunji is from South Africa. No, I'm a Ugandan. I'm born here. And the company is owned by several people, 40% of whom are Ugandans, and then we have other international investors. Our suppliers, of course, very, very critical, the media and other the shareholders and other stakeholders. This ecosystem has delivered us this far, and we thank you for that. And UMEME will continue as a going concern. It's not closing today. We will engage with our business partners to close out any reconciling items that are actually remaining. So today we hand over the operational management of this massive system in good faith as we continue to engage with the government to resolve any remaining contractual obligations between ourselves and the government. We appeal for patience from stakeholders as we go through this transition process. Thank you once again and wish UEDCL the best as they take over the distribution and supply business effective midnight tonight. We live with a sense of gratitude and satisfaction on what we have been able to achieve. And Uganda is looked at, though the energy system is still in infancy, Uganda is looked at as a model of what other countries can do. We have received some, I'll give an example, requests from some country I will not mention for confidential reasons. Their losses are at 49% and they are collecting 54% of what they bill. So their efficiency is at 25%. And they are crying out they need help. They've come here to study us and say, how can we make it like Uganda has done? So as Uganda, we need to be proud that yes, the infant system we have now is built on solid foundations. All we need is turbocharge and grow it to greater height. We remain, Honorable Minister, at your disposal should you require any form of support within our means. And the management team has assured me they are available. We will share, we will show our colleagues, as we have been doing, the ropes, the critical areas that require attention to ensure that customers are not impacted in any way because of this transition. I call this, it was a known. We started, it was a 20-year project on 1st March 2005. The end date was 31st March 2025. Therefore, all speculation and so on should not be called for because this was a known event. All we are doing is we are fulfilling those contractual obligations as enshrined in our contracts. Allow me, Honourable Minister, to invite now my chairman, Mr. Patrick, to say a few words from the board. And once again, I thank you and thank all the colleagues for the support you have provided to me over the last 10 years as CEO. Tonight I go home and I will sleep comfortably. The phone will get silent. You know? And whoever calls, I'll be diverting the calls to Paul. So Paul, your phone should be charged all the time. But I remain available, Honourable Minister. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Patrick.
Patrick Bitatule, mumujukira. Do you remember that guy? Patrick Bitatule. Some of the bananyini UMEME kati.
Madam Minister, distinguished guests in your respective capacities, spare me the protocol, please. We're lucky today, we're having beautiful weather, beautiful day, it's calm. I was worried it was a storm coming, but it's calm. Reminded me the other day I was going to a function and lately it's been extremely hot. So we're in traffic and this traffic is something else that's got to be addressed. And these hawkers are walking around selling all kinds of things and my wife sees these people selling a fan, this rotating fan. So please, we stop the hawker, please help us. We'd like that fan. The fan is 40,000 shillings. I'm surprised, 40,000 for this fan with a battery? But the ladies nowadays with their makeup, they need to keep cool. These temperatures were something else. I said, give me something cheaper, please. Says, I have this one, which you open like this, and you just have to fan like this. Ah, much better. Give me that one. How much is that? 10,000. For that, the other one is 40, this is 10. I was surprised. But these guys are very smart. Says, it's okay. Let me give you a cheaper one if you don't want to afford that. He had another one he pulled out. It looked like the other one, but it was already open. 5,000. Excellent. Give me this one of 5,000. I took the 5,000 one, gave it to my wife, and he walked down the road. 2 minutes later, my wife used it, and it collapsed. And I started hooting for the hawker. Come back, you've cheated us.
Vitatuli. Uganda. That's the Uganda you've made for us. That's the Uganda you've made for us.
The man comes back. I say, look at this thing you've sold me. It has already collapsed. He says, no, you don't know how to use it. That one of 5,000, you don't fan like this. You use your head. You move your head. So, the message today is you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
UMEME, some people have been saying we're so expensive, we're all kinds of things, you're cheating us, but it has been a journey we have come on this country. I've been on this board for 15 years, over 15 years, and at the helm of the board. At the beginning, I was sitting on a board, but my management team were all Muzungus, expatriates. I am proud that we had a deliberate policy to bring Ugandans on board, and when I look at them today, I'm so proud of this team that has delivered UMEME in the last 15 years. It shows we can do it. Yeah. Another big challenge I had was corruption. When I joined the board, we were #1 in corruption, above the police, above everything. People forget easily. But it was UMEME, then police, then other institutions. We had a policy of zero tolerance for corruption. I made it my personal business to get involved. I invited groups of UMEME staff in chunks to meet me at Protea Hotel. I give them a lecture and talk to them. And I told them quite sternly, some of you will not be here in the next 6 months or 1 year because I'm not going to tolerate corruption. I don't care about the process and procedure and your unions. We will fire you on the spot. You go to your unions and sue us. I don't care. And that's the position I took from a private sector perspective. And all this protection they thought they had to go away. Slowly, we disappeared off the radar of corruption. You had to make UMEME a personal business. And wherever I went, I got to know the staff. I would stop when they are working and greet some of them. Eventually, they got to recognize me, most of them. Even when they are driving recklessly, I chase them, I hood them. When they realize it's me, they change their behavior. We had a culture of changing mindset. It's taken time, but we have done it because we had that period of time, 20 years. So we're handing over to you. 80% of our staff have been absorbed. So we're handing over to you a well-looked after, manicured, mindset-changed staff. I hope they deliver, and I'm sure they will. So mine was really to move a vote of thanks. I must begin by thanking His Excellency the President. Because if this man did not give me an audience, especially at the beginning, we would not have delivered where we were, where we are today. He's one man you could ring, make a call, I want to speak to His Excellency. You book the call, you wait. The next day he would call you. Now that was not very common. At many a time he'd call me, and I am in London, or I've traveled, and it is 5 a.m. because that man wakes up very early and starts calling very early in the morning. When you pick up the phone, you are in London, or 2 hours, 3 hours behind, you get up and you stand waiting, hold on for him. You hold on and hold on. They say, sorry, we'll call you back. You don't go back to bed. You have to stay waiting. That's the way we began this country. Because he was managing things directly. And if there was a problem, he'd call you. So I must give special thanks to him because it was something he paid particular attention to, electricity in this country. Thereafter, I've seen several ministers come in that Ministry of Energy, and I thank all of them that I've worked with. They have all been very supportive. With no exception, the current minister has really been a champion. Anytime you call her, you WhatsApp her, she will respond every single time. I thank you, Madam Minister, for that support. That culture you have brought, all your team, they all respond, and they are so responsive, Mr. Minister. The regulator, Ira, the lady has been a champion. No nonsense, very tough, but very fair. She knows exactly what she's doing. In the past, we had a lot of runnings in with the regulator, but now we have had a smooth working relationship. We know what she stands for, and she always stood for fairness, and that was something we understood. I must thank the board with which I've worked. I've had a resilient board. And I always told my shareholders when I'd have meetings that I have to make sure that I am surrounded by people that are smarter than me. I did not want anybody on my board who was not as smart as me. They had to be smarter than me. Then they were useful to me. Otherwise, I didn't need them. The board, I thank you in a very special way. None of them are here today, but they did an excellent job. They've been very supportive and they've done a very good job to deliver us where we are. The management team, as I've said, they've done an excellent job, especially Celestino, the CEO, because this is one man who has stood out. Before he became the CEO, he was doing his work, but people didn't recognize him. Now he's a celebrity everywhere he goes, and I'm proud of that, because he delivers. Wherever he goes, he's recognized. Madam Minister, please, it is good to recognize the people in your team, especially when you have a champion amongst them, because the culture goes through to the rest of the staff who work with him. He's done an excellent job, and many people doubted when we removed an Irishman who was the CEO before him. Said, how do you bring in somebody we don't even know? But this man knew the nuts and bolts of this business like the back of his hand. Until today, he has all the figures. Anytime I'd call him, he was always on alert. Thank you, Celestino, for doing an excellent job. My customers, I want to thank the customers, because to me they were personal. All the customers on UMEME's grid. I tried to relate to as many as I could. They did an excellent job to tolerate us, because we had a lot of challenges. People forget and they think that we live in Japan or Korea or America, where when power goes in 1 minute, they're jumping up in excitement. What the heck, power has gone? They forget where we have come from. It's been a journey. Until our grid is built overhead, most of the grid is overhead, not underground. In those countries, when it rains or doesn't rain or snow, their grid is underground. It doesn't make a difference. But here, every time there's a storm, UMEME is going to go. People are looking at us. So whenever power would go, even at times it would go in in State House. And I have to shudder. UMEME, everyone looks at you like it's your fault, power is gone. These are the conditions in which we live. And so long as our grid is built overline, the branches, the trees, with our beautiful weather and our beautiful soils, rain will come and the trees, the vegetation will flourish. We have people who cut lines throughout the country. We are recruiting people to keep maintaining the lines so that they are free of these trees and shrubs. People take it for granted. But I'm glad we have delivered a 20-year concession. We are proud of our accomplishment. We still have a bit of work to do. Some people feel that the negotiations have got to continue. Yes, they are going to continue. I need to assure my shareholders that buyout amount is not what they expected. But that's for another day. We shall talk about another day. We shall have an AGM. We have worked in good faith with the government of Uganda, and I'm sure we're going to conclude these discussions. We have received our payment, the initial payment that was undisputed, and for that we are very grateful. For anybody who doubted us, Friday we received over $120 million in our account. I thank you, Madam Minister, for that payment. We're going to address all the challenges remaining, and we are here to support the new team led by Paul Mwesigwa, UEDCL, the new chairman. We are here, a phone call away, and we'll always be supportive. It's a contractual obligation anyway for the next 6 months. The people who wrote this concession 20
from UMEME to UEDCL, from Bitature to Mwesigwa, from the kitchen to bedroom. It's in the same house.
years ago, they were brilliant minds. Nobody could have envisioned what we shall be dealing with today. They tried as much as possible to capture all the eventualities. And even you today, as you take over, you cannot imagine what will happen in the next 20 years. Where would Uganda be? Maybe we shall be using EV cars at that time. I don't know. Maybe things will be completely different. But we had a very good plan. We put as much as we could in that concession. It has protected us. It has hurt us. But along the way, it has delivered us. So today, we hand over with a smile. Thank you very much, Madam Minister. It's been a pleasure really serving on this board, and I thank all of you who have been with us on this journey. God bless you all.
Bless you too. God bless you too, Bitature. UMEME load shedding. UMEME load shedding. We would do. Okay, there is a point to Vudawala. Amatabi gemiti gajikuba nejigwa ewaya nkube etonye emiti nejigwa na wakati chebagano gaisa wansi wetaka temusobola kugula temusobola kuzimba underground system tunagizimba ddi kwa sezo nazo mukamiza mukunganya. Why don't you start tumanno kati mutandize underground system tegaida mukuva kuna fene tweyagala.
Gasha Bashisha, Honorable MP for Mitoma District, and she sits on the Committee of Natural Resources. Honorable Minister, allow me also recognize the Honorable Dr. Magolo John Faith, MP for Bungoho. I pray that I pronounce it very well. Bungoho North, that is in Mbale. Honorable Minister, in the same vein, allow me recognize the authority chairperson. I'm doing this, I think she was recognized, Dr. Sarah Wasagali Kanabi. Honorable Minister, allow me recognize Director Joseph Hiria, who is in the capacity of the Auditor General. A round of applause for him. I guess we are also here partly because of his reason. We want to thank you for the tireless efforts that you have put in to ensure this transaction comes to a closure. Honorable Minister, allow me also recognize Engineer Kenneth Kijuka, the CEO of National Housing Construction Corporation. You're most welcome. Honorable Minister, allow me recognize Mr. Irumba Rogers Kaija, the Undersecretary of the Office of the Prime Minister. You're most welcome, sir, and feel at distribution. Honorable Minister, you realize that your endless list of achievements can't end. I've been with the media colleagues out there and I've been saying you are the most responsive media person. You respect the Fourth Estate and we want to recognize you as colleagues in that trade. All right. Another round of applause for the Minister, colleagues. In no particular order, Honorable Minister, I want to take this single opportunity to invite the next speaker, and who is my direct supervisor, the Managing Director of UEDCL, Mr. Paul Mwesigwa. That hand clap is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. All right, thank you very much. Better one.
Thank you very much. Good morning, members. Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, the Honorable Minister of State for Energy, the members of Parliament present from the Natural Resource Committee and other committee members, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy, the Chairperson of the Authority, the Office of the Auditor General, the Board of UEDCL Management and Staff, the Chairperson of Uganda Electricity Generation Company, members of management and the staff of generation, the Chairperson and Board members of Uganda Electricity Transmission Company, the management, the board, and the staff of UMEME, the religious leaders present, representatives from Uganda Manufacturers Association, representatives from the community, the Fourth Estate, the media present today, good morning again.
Good morning.
Honorable Minister, today it marks a fundamental day which happened in 2005 when UEDCL handed over the responsibility and the assets to distribute power in Uganda on the 1st of February 2005. Now 31st of March, we've ended our concession with UMEME. We need to thank God for that. Honorable Minister and members present, allow me to briefly take you through what has happened. The operation of UEDCL are governed by the Electricity Act of 1999, amended in 2022. It has an asset ownership license that was issued on the 1st of March 2005 from the regulator ERA to own the facility for distribution up to 33 kV. That network was leased to UMEME under the lease assignment agreement. It came as a result of the need for the government of Uganda to attract private capital by that time, which was required in the country, not only in power distribution, but in all the sectors. And power distribution was among them. Therefore, the distribution network was concessioned to UMEME by the government of Uganda. Then the law of UEDCL was converted to the monitoring and checking the progress of the performance of the network up to the end of the concession, that's the day-to-day. So UEDCL continued to operate outside the network, which was concessioned out by that time, mainly the off-grid stations, because they were not concessioned, since they were not profit-making, and the private operator could not take them on. As a government company, we remained behind, and we worked on them. We've turned them around also, and now they are self-sustainable. We need to thank God for that, and the effort which UEDCL has done. As we speak, those rural areas which are far to reach, which were not commercially viable, they don't receive any subsidy from the government. We need to thank the regulator who has put an environment, enabling environment for those areas where we're operating, that they are now self-sustainable under the good governance of UEDCL, under the operational efficiency of a government company that is taking over UMEME today. Thank you. For that matter, over the past 2 decades, the areas which were in rural areas and were not commercially viable, which have turned around, with the support of power extension from the Ministry of Energy under the Electrification Agency. Some of them, they've extended the power, and the former off-grid stations, they are now on the main grid. And the few which had also been privatized to private operators up to 2017 and up to 2014, some of them had failed, but as we speak today, we've taken over 5 private concessions, and among them, we had Fed South Engineering Company, which we took over in 2017, Bundibujo Cooperative Society, we took it over in 2021, Padel Abim Community Multipurpose Energy Society in 2023, Chegegwa Rural Energy Cooperative Society Limited, we took it over in 2024, last year. At the same time, Kilembe Mines in 2024. The takeover, Honorable Minister, of this private concessions outside the UEDCL rural area network came as a result of the cabinet decision in 2022, where the government, having analyzed UEDCL, our performance, our governance and efficiency, it was decided that all the private electricity distributors' license, as they expire, they shouldn't be renewed, but we should be taking over. We need to thank the government and His Excellency in particular, because Cabinet made a decision under the stewardship of our Excellency, the President of Uganda. Thank you very much for that decision. The decision that was done by the government for us to take over power distribution was mainly based on our presentation as UEDCL and the demonstration in terms of governance, in terms of efficiency, financial sustainability, digital operation environment of our systems. I can give an example. We've ran the recruitment process in a recorded time of 75 days, where we have interviewed over 2,995 employees. We've deployed two methods, the online interview models and the physical models. That is super of the highest order. But what have we based on? Our digital environment that speaks and communicates to the population and the customer that we deal with, where even the staff are part of our customers. And the other digital environment, where we operate, we are stationed here in Kampala, and our first office in Uganda is 120 kilometers from Kampala, but we are in a position to speak, communicate, and interrogate with the network through all the digital mechanisms, SCADA, fleet management system, human resource environment, and the customer and the meter management system, online customer connections, electronic combined issuance of vouchers for stock accountability. As we talk, we are in a position to account for each and every stock, borrowed nuts, transformers, by GPS as it leaves our stores to the last point in the field. And all the engineers know that one very well. So for that matter, UEDCL that is taking over the responsibility of UMEME, we are in the right direction as a government. All the takeovers that we've handled are deliberate, and they underline on the philosophy of the business, where we believe in connecting the customer and making that power available through the controls in place and the system that we are managing accordingly. So UEDCL business philosophy has 5 notions, which you follow to the latter. We need to take a note that these are: connect the customer. We connect the customer online, and our people visit you without visiting our office. We make power available. Our power availability is up to the right regulatory environment. Manage energy losses. Where we operate is a low area, and we expect, based on our target of 14.59%, we shall achieve it. That is the target for energy losses for the year end December 2025. And I've worked out models and concepts with management and the board that we shall be in a position with the investment requirement that you've put to the regulator. We need to thank the regulator and the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Finance for availing the financing that we shall need for that exercise. Then the other philosophy is collect the cash. We need to appreciate that in the value chain of electricity, the distributor is the converter of electronics into money. So, all the power generated by the generation company, transmitted by transmission company, end up into our network. And our obligation is to convert those electronics into money. Our cash collection is 100%. No shortcut. If we connect you on our network, you have to pay. And customers are paying. How we've deployed the systems in place. We need to update members in the gathering and online that we have 99.9% of customers operating on prepaid, up to 500 kVA connections, medium voltage manufacturers, they are on prepayment, including government installations, police, barracks, and other agencies. Therefore, we are there to hit the road, and we assure the transmitters and the generators that the cash will be flowing. The investors on the generation side, they should be assured that they will be in a position to get and recover their investment accordingly. The last philosophy lies on promoting safety. We are sure and aware that the network we operate, the product that we sell, is fairly risky and dangerous to the population, so we manage it accordingly. So the transfer connection, during the process of taking over, through the guidance of Honorable Minister An interim committee was established, chaired by the Honorable Minister of Energy, and on that committee, there are members from the Attorney General, Joint Technical Committee, chaired by the PS. Then for us as UEDCL, we are handling the Asset Transfer Connection Committee with the UMEME, whose responsibility was reported to the Joint Technical Committee, chaired by the PS. We need to thank UMEME and the leadership of Celestino that the discussion, the transactions have moved on well, and today we are concluding the discussion that were happening in that environment. Honorable Minister, the management of UEDCL is also grateful for the support of the authority. We need to repeat this several times because they've done us a good job. But the main issue why we are very thankful to the regulator, that on the 31st of December 2024, we received our license and the tariff requirement and the parameters that we are supposed to operate. The processes are underway to hit the ball rolling. We have already commenced the procurement. Our stock is being filled. I can assure the population there were some pending connections from UMEME. Our warehouses are full. Tomorrow the 1st, we shall start deploying the logistics across the country. And within a period of 10 working days, all connections should be up and running. And we expect that in the next 2 to 3 months, all the pending connections will be cleared and we are up to speed. Our target for this year, in the next 12 months, we are supposed to connect up to 300,000 connections. We've done mechanisms and model. The good thing, more than 50% of the stock is in our warehouse, and we shall achieve that target. In regard to the talent management, Honorable Minister, UEDCL board and management treat this matter as serious as much as possible. Thus, we deployed the most fairness environment of recruitment. All the jobs that resulted into the new structure as approved by your leadership have been filled from the team that we've got from UMEME. The interviews were held in a combination of UEDCL leadership and the staff whom we came on appointing at different levels. So it was a balanced and shared responsibility because we had to discuss the performance parameters which have been allocated by the regulator to us and the team that was recruiting. And we believe we've got the best team that is ready to take on the mantle and the exercise. For that matter, the current positions, which are approved of 2,712, have been fully handled up to 99.6. We're still remaining with 11 positions that we are trying to manage, but we believe by the end of business today, we shall be in a position to conclude that from the team that has applied and been interviewed. On the side of ICT, all the systems, both UMEME and UEDCL, shall be maintained. We've reviewed them, we've analyzed, and they are up and running. They will continue running up to beyond midnight without any interruption. All the assets of UMEME which has been in operation, we've done a stock and they are fully registered in our books of accounts. Honorable Ministers and members, we've also done an audit and review of all the offices which are previously run by UMEME. The good thing, out of the 51 offices which are currently occupied by UMEME, 26 belong to UEDCL, so they are our assets. we don't need to engage any other landlord other than engaging ourselves, which we've done. Then the balance, we've engaged the landlords whom have accepted to live with us, and they will remain open at the same time. Honourable Minister, as I head towards the end, we have also done an audit across the country for all the moving fleet, including laptops, computers, and as we speak today, the team that is across the country receiving the assets by end of business today, such that a stock is fully reconciled to what was audited during the year. However, I also need to assure the gathering and the Honourable Minister that all the assets which you've reviewed, like cars, land, trucks, motorbikes, they are fully registered in the books of UEDCL and the names of UEDCL. They're not in the names of UMEME, so we don't expect any asset to be lost. Therefore, UEDCL is grateful to UMEME management, the staff and board for the support accorded during and before the transition. We have enjoyed a cordial relationship and look forward for more collaboration. As I conclude, Honourable Minister, I want to recognize the staff and management of UEDCL for the journey thus so far. We have spent sleepless nights to ensure that the transition is seamless, and it is so. I will forever be indebted to them because as the leader of the institution, I work in the support of the team through systems, and the systems have achieved. In the same vein, but in a special spirit, I need to thank the board for the guidance that we've been receiving on a continuous basis, and we've succeeded. Honourable Minister, allow me to thank, finally, the employees of UMEME who participated in the interviews, in the recruitment process to make it a success. UEDCL is committed for improving reliability in the country by deploying all the investment resources that are fairly priced reasonable. And we have achieved and we have received the financing for the first 12 months, up to $74 million. This money is readily available. We are going to deploy it, and part of the monies that the procurements have started. So we believe that we are going to start on the good note, and in the next 12 months, a lot of activities are going to happen on the network. And we need to alert our customers. We shall be announcing accordingly where we are going to work and how we are going to execute for the inconvenience as we put the network up to speed with the current load that we are getting from the generation plants and the transmission environment. On the special note, allow me also to thank, finally, the Cabinet of Uganda under the leadership of the President for making the decision that we are taking over as a government institution to manage the affairs of the country, because power distribution, being a backbone of the country, it should be held by the government institution that's accountable, fully accountable to the population. And we believe and we commit ourselves, we shall deliver to the fulfillment and achieve the parameters that are approved by the licensee of Uganda. For God and my country, thank you for listening. Honourable Minister, before I leave the podium, allow me to invite briefly the Chairman, Board of Directors of Uganda Electricity Distribution Company to say a word, and I thank him for the job well done. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, the Honorable Minister of State, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I have a few words. First, because this day has been long coming. From the time the government made a decision to take over to have the asset retransferred to UEDCL, we have had very many interactions with all interested parties, with all stakeholders. I have seen, on the negative part, if you like, sometimes unpleasant communication. And a lot of it, but I believe it was in good faith. I believe it was in good faith. We have had very many meetings, some with the Honorable Minister and the Permanent Secretary, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you first for the guidance. I want to thank you for the trust. It didn't take a lot of convincing, but it meant a lot to the board of UEDCL. I want to thank you for the resources you have mobilized to ensure that we are able to invest in the network. Can I also request the Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development to convey our sincere thanks to the Minister of Finance for his contribution in that respect. I know the number of times we walked to the Minister, and I know the responses that we got over the period. I spoke about unpleasant letters. They were, but I think they were all in good faith. I had actually wanted to say a lot. I won't. I know you are going to Cabinet. Can I end by thanking you again? Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Another round of applause for the speakers. Honorable Minister, the Baganda said to Liba Kujukiza, in that past year, you were canonized. Honorable Canon, thank you very much for that beautiful year. Allow me on a special note, invite the Chief Executive Officer of the Electricity Regulatory Authority, Engineer Ziria Tiwalwa Wako. A round of applause as she steps on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Masters of Ceremony. Our chief guest, the Honorable Dr. Kanoni Ruthie Nankabirwa Sentamu, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, the Honorable Minister of State for Energy, the Honorable Members of Parliament, especially from our own committee, the Environment and Natural Resources Committee, also from the Committee on National Economy and all the members of Parliament present, our dear Permanent Secretary, the technical head of the sector, and the staff from the sector, from the ministry, and all the other agencies. The chairperson, ERA, the regulator. Many times when they refer to the regulator, everyone looks at me. I'm not the regulator. Today the regulator is before you, and she will be undertaking her mandate in line with the provisions of Chapter 10 of the Electricity act shortly after my remarks. The Director Audit, Kanoni Hiria, representing CPA Dwadi Call, the chairpersons of boards of sector agencies present. You've made us proud for witnessing this big switch. They've tagged it big switch. My colleagues, the captains of the industry, the managing directors and CEOs of the sector and government agencies, representatives of the other licensees. I've seen the NERECO here and many others. Thank you for being part of this historical event. The media fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Chief guest, allow me to start by introducing the regulator, my chairperson, Dr. Sarah Wasagali Kanavi. I take the beating, but she is the regulator. Now she has the mini regulators behind her. I only lead that team. Management and staff of ERA, I would have desired to mention you, name each of you, but please stand up in the interest of time. They are seated behind you, Mama. On this side, please stand up. ERA, management and staff of ERA, all of the directors are here and the managers are here. Thank you for turning up. Please take your seats. So those are the regulators. I'm nested. The chief regulator is there, and then those are the technical engineers behind the oversight of this industry. A chief guest, with a sense of both accomplishment and reflection, we gather here today for the formal handover of the assets back to government of Uganda. This is a momentous occasion that marks the successful conclusion of the 20-year concession, the lease and assignment agreement with all the associated covenants that operationalized it, the support agreements, the licenses, name it, between the government of Uganda and UMEME Limited. Over the past 2 decades, the Electricity Regulatory Authority has played a pivotal role in supervising and regulating the management of these assets, ensuring their continued service to the Ugandans, ensuring that each party plays their role for the past 20 years. ERA has remained committed to the principles of efficiency, reliability, and affordability, while safeguarding the interests of the various parties. You have the consumers with diverse interests, you have the policymakers with diverse interests, you have the investors, the licensees with diverse interests. So we have been doing only that, to balance the interests of the various stakeholders. Should the tariff be low, should the investments increase, should the standards be tightened, and all these have to be balanced to have a sustainable electricity supply industry. During this time, we have witnessed significant progress. We have seen the rehabilitation and upgrading of the electricity distribution infrastructure, the expansion of the network, improvement in operation efficiency, reduction in losses, as has been presented here by the MD UMEME. I can say it has been a learning experience. We've come a long way from the push-pull amplifier to cordial relationship of understanding the reason that we exist, the reason that we are paid. And I thank all of those who have played their part diligently. These achievements reflect not only the dedication of the sector players, but also the spirit of collaboration with the various sector stakeholders. As stipulated in the concession agreement, the time has come now that these assets revert to government ownership. This transition marks a natural progression in the evolution of the electricity supply industry and signals a new start for greater things. Watch the space. ERA has taken an active and supportive role to our parent ministry, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Honourable Minister, we thank you. We pick from all sources, from you to the sector and from the sector to you. We thank you for being present, for the call of duty, for serving selflessly. We really thank you. And through you, we thank your family that has stood in the gap as you run with this sector. This transition, once again, is supposed to ensure that there is smooth and transparent handover process. It has been a whole 5 years. I wish all the 5 years were like the last 1 month. There's a lot that has been happening. And the various ministries and government departments and agencies. I can't say only us as the electricity supply industry, but as they said, the Attorney General's Chamber, the Solicitor General, the Ministry of Finance, NEMA, to certify the state of environment of the assets that we are receiving. So the work has been done beyond the borders of the electricity supply industry. We are confident that the government of Uganda, through the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, will continue to manage these assets efficiently and ensure their sustainable contribution to the development of the country and to the energy security and safety that the Ugandans are waiting for. We acknowledge with deep appreciation the leadership and support of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Cabinet, but to sing out in Cabinet our own Minister Mama, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. I think we have a success rate of more than 90% at Cabinet. Every time we go there, we come out victors. Let's give her a round of applause. She prepares, she reads, she asks us to ensure that when we're on the floor, she is comfortable to take charge. So we thank you, engineer. We've birthed an engineer in our own minister. She speaks the engineering language before cabinet, and you don't feel like adding anything. And when she asks, we all confirm she has presented it effectively. Thank you for reading. Thank you for having the passion to understand the language of electrons. We also acknowledge the support of the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, support of the Attorney General, the Office of the Auditor General, without which we wouldn't be here, but more so the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. You took the beating on our behalf, but we are here together to say Asante Sana, God has made it. Thank you very much, and through you to the Speaker of Parliament that has enabled us to achieve being here today. As UMEME relinquishes control of the electricity distribution assets today, we are appreciative of their services. A round of applause for UMEME and team. The chair is my good friend, I can say. So being a regulator is very difficult. You can have friends that you cannot respond to their invites. But he understands me very well, very strong, straightforward, very transparent and predictable. You do what you are supposed to do, you don't have to whisper to anybody. It will be done. And you get your decision clean. You don't do, you will go to God and still come back and do it. Because we have a law within which we deliver our mandate. So I would like to thank you, the Chair, Board of UMEME, to thank Celestino. Celestino has asked me many times, shall we remain friends? And I said yes. The best friends, because we are in this together. The 10 years of your profession have been written in the electric supply industry of Uganda, and therefore we remain friends to deliver electrons to fuel the economy and to ensure we contribute to the socio-economic development of our country. ERA reaffirms its commitment, creating a conducive, transparent, predictable regulatory environment, one that fosters investment, innovation, and customer protection. UMEME has over the years grown the electricity customer base. I will not go through these numbers. They've already been presented by Setin. I only confirm that they are accurate. I can only add that the occasions where UMEME exceeded the revenue collection target. There are months where UMEME has collected more than 100%. What does that mean? It means our customers pay. They only late pay. So if a year closes with some who have not paid, in the following year, you'll see UMEME declaring, I've collected 102%. So I would like to thank the customers, the consumers of electricity. You've made us so proud. Because we need to be clear. You have the generation segment, because without adequate and available generation, UMEME cannot do a miracle. Transmission cannot do a miracle. So the government has invested in the generation assets, has invested in the transmission assets, and we had an effective distributor to deliver the last portion that interfaces with the consumer. So we thank the government, we thank the transmitter, but more so for today, we thank UMEME. Asante sana. And through you, to all your staff, all the way up to the sweeper, the cleaner, the driver, please appreciate the staff, that the regulator is very appreciative for responding to the call of duty. Because if any of them did not respond to the call of duty, we will not be here celebrating these improvements in service delivery. As we celebrate the good job UMEME has done to date, and welcome UEDCL to take charge, it is important to point out that the overwhelming investor interest in our generation segment, is partially built by a robust transmission and distribution segment. Because there is no way you can attract investments in the generation segment if they are not sure that they will recover their hard-earned invested capital. So I would like to thank you in that aspect, that you have lifted our investment climate to the effect that if today my minister stood here and said, I'm privatizing distribution, she will be tired. Her office will be full of so many applications because of the investment climate that you have contributed to. So this has given the investors confidence that the sector is self-sustaining and capable of paying their bills, because the Ugandan electricity consumer pays their bill. That is why I emphasize a round of applause for all of us and all those consumers of electricity on whose decision we stand on today to celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, this handover is not just a transfer of physical assets, but is a transfer of responsibility from the private operator to now a state-owned Uganda electricity distribution company. We must embrace this responsibility with diligence and dedication to ensure that the benefits that this transition presents in the electricity supply industry can reach every Ugandan. We want every Ugandan to enjoy the benefits that this transition presents. Thank you for that round of applause. Once again, I sincerely thank our supervisor, Mama, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and your state ministers. You are lucky you got efficient and effective state ministers. Honorable Kasai, I wouldn't have asked for any other Minister of State for Energy than you. We have the doctors in front there who keep spending time in the field. I even wonder how Honorable Kasai balances being in the field as well as appearing before the committees. So you leave him in Karamoja, the following day he says, I need support before the committee. We really appreciate. And in absentia, Honorable Nyamtolo, our youth minister, She has been all over and she has supported the main minister. So I would like to thank the three ministers. I would like to thank the three ministers for being available for duty. You don't know what it takes when you want to make a decision. And the law says you must take into consideration the policy of government. And you are looking for the minister, who is the interface between you and the government, and your policy head is not available. And you call her, is not answered. And you text, she doesn't. My minister responds. She answers, she calls back, she texts back even when she's in parliament. Thank you. Thank you for making our work easy. You've made our work easy. So once again, I would like to thank you, Minister, our Permanent Secretary. I don't know how much I can thank you, but you are an engine behind the technical performance of the sector. You make us proud. She was the best PS last year. So we thank God that she gave us a performer. She gave us a performer, and we thank you, and through you we thank your family, because we know you sacrificed to be available throughout. We can't take that for granted. Thank you very much. We thank the concessionaire, UMEME. We thank the management and staff of UEDCL. Yes, my friend. Again, I got a question. Will you still be my friend? Here it came from the chair body, UEDCL. Even when you stop being a chair, even when I stop being the CEO of ERA, we will remain friends forever. We have painted a record, we've painted history, we can never erase it. We will appear together before the committees of parliament. We are friends and we need each other. So we remain friends, my senior, the chair board of UEDCL. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the stakeholders for their support and dedication, and the best wishes that now I give to UMEME as they close this important chapter in the history of the sector. We believe we have taken the cream de cream, but because of transitions, as you can see, the MD has not crossed. Some of the managers have, the senior management has not crossed. So please remain available. We need you because the sector has trained you. You have our expertise. We are going to call you to partner with us to take the sector forward. Again, to thank Parliament. Mama, allow me to thank, through you, Cabinet, but His Excellency the President, for prioritizing the electricity supply industry. There are many sectors, but there is no public speech that our President will not put us to order. So if you want to work, go and watch every speech of the President. You will come out the following morning, you will be meeting your senior management. Now we have this, we have this, we have this. That caretaking with passion, that guidance, that feedback that he gives us enables us to excel. So Mama, through you, appreciation to His Excellency, the President. As the authority, we pledge total commitment to the sustainable electricity supply industry. We wish all of you a happy day. We wish you EDCL the excellency in performance, and we remain the regulator. If you want to benchmark on what we do best, the consultant is in that corner. They have done a lot of learning, hence enabling them to perfect the game and being able to deliver the milestones that we are celebrating today. From 12% access to nearly 60% access. From 38 losses to under 16. From 250 connections to more than 2.3 now nationally. 2.2 UMEME, and we have another 100 at UEDCL. So if you want to consult how the regulator can deliver decisions seamlessly, the consultants are available. Just get it. They are still available in their address. So consult them. So with that, allow me once again to appreciate all of you for turning up for this event, and appreciate the chief guest, and submit my remarks for God and my country.
Honorable Minister, I would like to thank the previous speakers, and just to note before I invite my peers that after the Minister, we shall have the handover of assets, then we'll do a group photo and media interviews at the red carpet. Without much ado, allow me to now invite the Permanent Secretary, Engineer Irene Batebe. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, you're most welcome. The Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, the Honorable Canon Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu, the Honorable Minister of State for Energy, the Honorable Okasai Sidronius Opolot, Honorable Members of Parliament representing a number of committees, our representatives of different boards. You will allow me combine you in the interest of time. The representative of the Auditor General, Director Joseph Hiria, who has given us a lot of support. The UMEME board, led by the board chairman, management and staff. All commissioners and senior management of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Of course, our religious leaders. We see you, Pastor Semper. Thank you for coming. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a momentous occasion indeed. And going through the last 5 years, as we started winding up the concession and following the cabinet decision of October 2022, the teams have been working under pressure. And we kept guiding the teams that when they are under pressure, they should keep calm and unruffled on the surface, paddle like a duck, like everything is underneath. So they have managed during this tumultuous time exceedingly well. Please let's applaud the teams led by the Minister of Energy. I recall the last meeting we had with UMEME a few days ago. The CEO, and I want to thank you, Celestino, with your team blessing, were very calm in that meeting, but behind them, a lot was happening. Equally, UEDCL has gone through a very busy time, and yet the CEO came and was calm. The Electricity Regulatory Authority, ERA, CEO, we know the pressure under which you've been working. So we really want to thank everyone that has contributed to this process and ensured a seamless, largely seamless handover. I want to start with the decision of Cabinet and therefore thank His Excellency the President and together with our Honorable Minister of Energy and Development and the ministerial team for the guidance you have given us throughout this process. We kept coming again and again to ensure that we were on the right track, and many times you guided and very well. Following the Cabinet decision, we put in place 3 committees as the governance structure for this transition. There was a steering committee that the Honorable Minister chaired alongside the Attorney General and the Minister of Finance. And without a doubt, the steering committee steered us, and very well. There was a joint technical committee where we sat as the technical team, where we were represented as the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and I want to thank the commissioners that led that team. Engineer Cecilia Menya, Engineer Abdona Twine, they were at the helm of guiding the ministry team in a committee that I chaired. The Ministry of Finance was a member of that team represented by the Permanent Secretary and the Secretary to Treasury, and we want to thank PSST in absentia for continuing to support this process, and at the end, ensuring we pay UMEME in a timely manner. We had the National Planning Authority, and we want to thank our PAS our appreciation to the authority for the support they gave us to ensure that this process is aligned with the national goals. I want in a special way to thank the Electricity Regulatory Authority, CEO, for the strength, but also the courage you brought to this process. Together with your team, we want to applaud you. The Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited was a member of that committee, and without a doubt, Mr. Paul Mwesigwa, you steered this process and very well, calm under pressure. To a point that sometimes would worry, Mr. Mwesigwa is very calm, but he has mastered the art of leading under pressure. I want to thank the Office of the Prime Minister that was also a member of this committee, and Mr. Irumba, please pass on our gratitude. You can stand, because they ensured we are well coordinated within cabinet, but also government, to deliver on this process. In a special way, under the coordination committee, where UEDCL sat with UMEME, I want to thank UMEME, Celestino and your team. They were very responsive. We had a few hiccups along the way, but we resolved them. I want to thank Celestino, Blessing, but the entire team. Indeed, Mr. Vitature, you had an A team, and continue lending them to us whenever we need them. Thank you very much. We had support from the World Bank, back end, just monitoring and guiding us on those things where we needed guidance where necessary. And I want to thank Makados. They are here, our technical advisors. Just stand up. Makados Aries, just stand up. So what Makados was doing was largely to sit, we call them the red team. Everything is going on, we are all up and about, but you have this third party looking from the outside in and being able to guide us on where the risks lie and ensuring we've captured those risks and very well. And indeed, the guidance you gave us has supported us, especially in the recruitment strategy. We thank you. I want in a special way to thank the Auditor General, our Director here, in the absence of Mr. Cole, for the leadership you provided during this period. Now, when we wrote to the Office of the Auditor General about a year ago, requesting them to commence this audit, Director Hiria, together with Mr. Cole, took this by the bull's horns. They understood the task at hand and ensured they met the timelines. And we want to thank you. If you hadn't met the timelines, we wouldn't be here, would still be stuck in the hay. So thank you very much, Director Hiria, for that leadership. Now, in summary, as a committee and therefore the governance structure of this transition, we focused on 4 pillars which delivered the transition. Number 1, we were keen on issues of governance, just looking into the company UEDCL and understanding where they stand as a company, going back in 2 times and reviewing their memorandum and articles of association and ensuring that the board is ready for the new season that the company is entering into. And with the guidance of the shareholders, the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Finance, indeed, we had to amend the memorandum and articles of association for the company to provide for more competencies to strengthen the board for the season they are entering into. And I want to thank the shareholders for that support. The other pillar was a technical pillar. We were keen to ensure that UEDCL is prepared to take on and manage this concession. So we were keen on the recruitment strategy that the company was deploying to ensure that we are able, number 1, to retain a critical mass of the UMEME staff as enshrined in the lease and assignment agreement we have with UMEME, but also the support agreement UMEME has with the Ministry of Finance. And that recruitment strategy has largely worked, but like we say, the test of that strategy is after today. So the MD, Mr. Mwesigwa, please ensure that the teams that you have recruited, you address issues of change management, culture. You're marrying 2 cultures. How do you ensure a competent team to deliver on the new task? So it's not over. You've recruited, but the teams must mingle. The teams must work together. And we'll be keen to continue providing guidance in that regard. We were keen on the technical pillar still to pay attention to issues of procurement. How does government support UEDCL in this season to procure efficiently and ensure they have the necessary materials to continue supporting supply of these public goods? And that we have endeavored, and we continue to work even with the Minister of Finance to see if there are specific reforms we need to undertake in the PPDA law to support companies like UEDCL in the commercial space to operate commercially and not be encumbered by the bureaucracies that some of the laws bring time and again. We were keen under our third pillar to look at issues financing, to ensure, number one, that the buyout amount is mobilized, and we thank finance, but also ensure that UEDCL is supported and we ensure their financial sustainability. And we are happy to report, like the MD already indicated, but also ERA, we have made provision of sufficient funding to enable them continue operating the assets. And we are thinking long term. We continue to work out mechanisms with ERA, but also the Minister of Finance to ensure the sustainability of the sector and UEDCL specifically. We had a fourth pillar, and that was largely the audit process and how we handle the transition. So, Honorable Minister and members, we want to use this opportunity to once again highlight, and it has already been indicated by the different speakers, that UEDCL is not in this alone. We are walking the journey with them. The Electricity Regulatory Authority has already given them key performance indicators. They have targets. They must deliver on these targets. If they don't, they will be penalized. So we are keen to ensure the company delivers on these targets. We are aware of some challenges UMEME has encountered on the collection side, and we have tasked UEDCL to ensure that all the remaining institutions that are not connected to prepaid meters are connected so that you're assured of your collections. Besides the targets, we are keen to ensure that on the government side, we continue supporting the company. Just like we've done for UMEME, we've been deploying government financing, whether GOU government or development financing, for example, like we have under the World Bank, Electricity Access Scale-Up project to grow our grid. So that support will continue to be extended to UEDCL. So all the ingredients to support UEDCL have a successful journey have largely been put in place. We are aware of the ongoing power outages, but even that, the MD has comforted you that as soon as they take over, they will hit the ground running to ensure they fill the gaps, the deficits that we are experiencing on the network. So as a ministry, we have required UEDCL to be bold in this season, to be strong but also courageous. And without a doubt, you will flourish because you have a support system behind you. You're not alone. We are in this together. So, Honorable Minister, as we prepare to enter the next session, I really want to thank you for the guidance you continue to give us. Like you know, we look for you at midnight, sometimes at 1 a.m., and you're available. The Honorable Kasai, thank you. Honorable Kasai mentors us. He mentors us to ensure that we continue doing our work and very well. With that, thank you for coming, and we look forward to a fruitful 20 years as we implement our new energy policy and our second power sector generation reforms. I thank you very much. So with that, before we can invite the Honorable Minister, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, invite our dear Honorable Minister for State for Energy, the Honorable Sidronius Okasai Opolot. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, the various board chairs, especially the one of UMEME, honorable members of parliament, and all of you, good afternoon. Oh, it is good morning still. It is because I woke up very early. I thought I've been up for a long day already. I'm so delighted standing here today. It has been a lot of pain getting through the questions both in the cabinet and parliament, asking, will you manage to get this transition through? I'm actually delighted we have reached a stage where I can say we have succeeded, Honorable Minister. While my friend Bitature was talking about electricity, in various fora, they actually say, Minister of Energy, do you really have energy? Do you have power? And when that question is asked, confidently we said, yes, we have power. So I must thank you for your passion for the energy sector. I honestly would wish to thank you for insistence on changing the character of UMEME. I listened to you how you went through it, and I think we went to the same school. I actually believed in the transformation that you achieved. So well done. It was a long journey, but you delivered it. I wish to thank the cabinet for the so many hard questions which were positive in nature. The questions were in good faith, making sure we are on top of the game. Honorable Minister, it's nice working with you. I wish to thank my colleagues, the members of parliament. Without those hard questions, maybe we would have faltered. We took those questions in good faith. And today, when we are standing here, we are celebrating the success of everyone who has been working with us through this hard path to deliver the transition and the transfer of the assets, from retransfer of the assets from UMEME now to UEDCL. And to my team in Ministry of Energy, I believe in you. I will not fear, actually, when I'm going to Parliament or Cabinet, because I have, a very strong team behind me. P.S. Thank you for your leadership in the ministry, and to all my staff who have delivered this, and UMEME Chief Executive and the board chair, don't let us and say you are done. This morning when I was traveling from Soroti, I kept my eyes open. And I was looking out, is there any darkness? Because today is the end of the concession. I'm glad to actually announce I never saw any darkness wherever there was light. So, well done, UMEME, and well done, UEDCL. And I look forward to continued delivery across the value chain of the electricity. Generation who have got to push hard. I heard him say, if we don't work hard, Celestino, you said it, in the next 3 years we shall have a shortage. We take that seriously. The chief executive of UEDCL, who have gone, and your board chair, we have got a task to stabilize and deliver power in adequate quantities to wherever there is a call for electricity. And UEDCL, I will not leave UMEME out. We shall continue delivering on the distribution segment of that value chain. It is not my day to speak. I must stop here and thank all of you for listening to me. And with this, I wish to invite the Honorable Minister to come and deliver her speech and then see the transfer of the assets.
Thank you very much, my colleague Minister. The Permanent Secretary is good at protocol, my Permanent Secretary. And I want to stand on the protocol well elaborated and say, how do you do? How do you do? How are you? Hello. I am sure that each one of you knows very well what is running through her or him. If you ask me how I'm doing, I think it can take a whole day, but I'm just feeling my heart is melting with excitement and joy and vigor. And so I am happy to be here today. And when you address me as your chief guest, I get lost because I feel I'm part and part of you. I should be addressing a chief guest who is not myself, because we've been running together. And so this is our day, all of us. But thank you for inviting me as a chief guest. But I am part and parcel of everything. And all the speeches that have been made, I am part and parcel of everything. And therefore, I'm just going to summarize. First of all, Mr. Celestino, Paul, my PS, CEO era, have told us the story, how it started. And so I'll not take you back to 2005 and what happened, which was in my speech, because you've given us the background. But I just want to emphasize the point that Tino, I learned that sometimes you are called as Tino. What he said that what we are going through was a known known. I liked that, because the reaction from the people was as if it is unknown known. Okay? The number of times I have been called to Parliament to give reports, to Cabinet, to give reports. And even towards the end, I think last week, I was invited to appear before Parliament, 2 parliamentary committees at the same time, handling the same thing. Committee of Natural Resources, I was invited by the chairperson of the committee to appear at 10. The Committee of National Economy invited the same minister to appear before it, same day, same time at 10. So what I did was to take myself, and I kept time. I thought that Natural Resources, since we've been together more often, they will understand. I will just start the committee and then leave my technical team and then cross over to national economy. Wapi. I reach there and they get stuck on me. They said, no, you have to complete But I want to thank the chair and the members of Natural Environment and Natural Resources Committee. The chair informed his friend, his colleague, the chairperson of national economy, that we are not letting the minister go, you can join us. So the chairperson of national economy is not here, but I want to thank him so much. He came and participated, so I ended up being in one place, handling both committees at the same time. The issue was UMEME concession. How prepared are you? So this known thing appeared to be unknown at some time. The kind of issues that were being raised, even on numbers, you can imagine. How come ERA told us a different figure? You are now talking about different figure. You are now borrowing, you know, different. And I'm like, all these are estimates. Because the concession is still running. And the Auditor General has to do his work. He had to give a provisional figure, which we based on to ask finance to put a loan request of 190 million US dollars provisionally as the Auditor General completes. But some people were looking for some loophole to catch us. We are going to catch them, to get backward. We are going to catch them. The difference in the figures, we are going to catch them. So, and some people could not tell the difference between borrowing money and cashing. And so you had to explain that borrowing is a process. You can't wait till the Auditor General has completed and then you borrow. Then you go to Cabinet and then Parliament. I mean, you have to be prepared. Then the question of where have you been? Didn't you know? Why didn't you do this thing early enough? And I'm like, supposing we did it 6 months ago, what will happen the remaining period when UMEME is still handling and is still investing? And even the concession itself instructs us what to do when. But I don't know what was wrong with people. The anxiety has been too much. And I thank God, the living God we serve, whose nature is mercy. He has been merciful today because we stood firm. I surrounded myself with gadgets to safeguard me from being pushed into panic mode. You call me and I listen to you and I'm like, okay, now take this way. Now do this way. Under Secretary, how are you feeling? Because it has been like run, and I knew and I trusted that the President took a decision well calculated when he guided and instructed me not to renew the concession and therefore prepare. And he kept on telling Cabinet, we shall get the money. Because the issue was, will you get the buyout? Because if you don't, then this transition will not take place. And I could look at the President's face every time in the Cabinet and elsewhere, insisting that we shall get the money. So I based on that trust to maintain my smile and my confidence, to move with everybody, basing on the trust I have in my President and what I have learned from him. My President has never been panicky. He wouldn't have won the liberation war. He handled every category of people. Abasamize, Abasabi, you know. He handled every category of people and he was able to guide somebody who told him that now that you have done this, even if you march to Kampala, you will take over. Kati owamba Kampala kati, Oli ready said, okay, tell the spirits to leave this part now for us. Tell the spirits to leave that part for us. I would like to tell Ugandans, to leave this last leg to us because we are going to deliver. We are going to deliver. We got prepared. So it has been a lesson. I know that you have learned a lot to be consistent and follow the proper procedure. Somebody is telling you to pay. No. The Auditor General finally delivered the figure. Okay? And the other issue now was that now UMEME has a different figure. The Auditor General has given us a different figure. How can that be a problem? When we know that we have a period of harmonization. From 1st of April, the Auditor General and everybody concerned will be sitting with the UMEME to harmonize. How can that be a problem? In the Auditor General's report, it was very clear that that wasn't the conclusive one because there is work which UMEME is still doing. They mentioned incompleted work. In other words, the Auditor General was telling you, for this, you can clear. $118 million US, go ahead and clear. And we did that. We cleared. There is work worth 9.78 or 87 million US dollars. That work is recognized as being work in progress. There could be another portion which will need harmonization. So I can assure you, UMEME Board and Executive, Mr. Patrick Vitatura and your team, that we are still together. We have to conclude naturally because this is not a termination. People should understand the difference between a termination and a natural retirement of an agreement. So I'm so happy. I cannot explain how I'm feeling, especially in this month. I can call it a month that has delivered triplets. I said this in State House. Triplets from me and my team, because we handle much more than electricity in my ministry. This very month, one of the 3 triplets came out when East African crude oil pipeline reached the financial close. That is not a mean achievement. We've been moving up and down. Then on Saturday, 28th, as we were preparing for this triplet of ours today, another one also came out. When I signed the implementation agreement for the refinery. Okay? Today, we are about to see the triplets coming out when we are receiving the assets and the network from UMEME. And the deliveries have been natural and normal. No cuts. Natural and normal. Bleeding, minimum bleeding, expected bleeding, but it's okay. No seizure, normal, natural, and the mother is going to be live and kicking. Okay? Little blood here and there, expected. And I've been calling it consequential inconveniences. You cannot expect us to run as if there was nothing to transfer or even nothing regarding a structure or even nothing regarding recruitment. No. When you recruit people whose legs are still in UMEME and you are recruiting them, do you expect them to run normally? Absolutely? 100%? You are inviting them, they are making applications, they are the very people. Celestino is calling because the minister has called, there is an emergency here, but the person is organizing for an interview. This kind of little bleeding is expected. And I want to call upon Ugandans really to bear with us. But the babies are alive and kicking. They're alive and kicking. So the lessons that we learn are in the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, that talks about seasons. There was a season when UMEME was majorly needed, and we call UMEME our savior. Because that season required a midwife to deliver us. And UMEME came up. And they've been nurturing the baby, nurturing the baby, nurturing the baby. So the other seasons are also coming. When your baby tells you, I am above 18, I feel I can choose to go and find a family of my own. What do you do as a parent? You just support. So UMEME, I'm expecting you to support us. Celestino, don't switch off, please. Don't switch off. We are still together because much as you are Babungi, Celestino, you are Ugandan. Some people thought that you are not. And because I have seen it from the speech of your able chair of board, and even you yourself, and the spirit within which you've been working, this is your baby whom you wish to deliver more triplets, okay? This is your baby, so I have no doubt that you'll be quick to give guidance, that you'll be quick to give guidance. So I have taken note of the need to generate more power. I think in today's papers we have a request for proposal from our accountant for people to express their interest for consultancy regarding feasibility study for one of the planned hydropower plant, a 400 megawatt hydropower plant, Kiba. And we have to make sure that we fast track. This we have told the president many times. And there are indicators that he has picked it, and you will be seeing us beginning on new, bigger power generation plants that we shall be working on. We know that. To you, Paul Omwesigwa, this season is a season which comes periodically, every after 5 years. This is a political season. Things are not going to be the same. You ask Celestino, what happens during this season? My dear, things are not going to be the same. So those ties and suits you are wearing, things are not going to be the same. The members of parliament are here. And the candidates are not small. From the presidential level to LC1. And LC1 chairperson will call you. But in that very village, probably is where the presidential candidate will hold a rally. Okay? So that chairman, LC1, will have an opportunity to come on the microphone. Muzei, these people, they don't know what they are doing. Can you imagine? We've been in darkness for all this time. Paulo. At that time, UMEME will not be there. UMEME's name has been sleek and easy to mention. In good and bad times. You say, UMEME. Now, UEDCL, which some people call UDCL, others call it UTCL, others call it what? We will not bother with that company. We will say, Paulo Mwesigwa. Mwesigwa. Mwesigwa, this Mwesigwa money, because UEDCL is long for people. So you Ugandans who are listening to me, whenever you've been hearing UMEME, put Paulo Mwesigwa. UMEME Mwesigwa. UMEME Mwesigwa. Mwesigwa, Mwesigwa. Is this money Mwesigwa really? Mwesigwa, Mwesigwa. So, this is what is coming. The good thing is that it is coming and finding us prepared. You are lucky. You even mentioned how much money you have. 74 million US dollars at your disposal. Being a Paulo Mwesigwa at this stage, when you are taking over, you can pull some sympathy, but that sympathy will not be forever. Because government has done everything it takes to support you financially. And you have recruited people who have experience. Your network is full of people who have experience. And what you have to do now, working with us of course, is to make sure that we put a strong communication network. I met Mr. Kauju in Igaba when blackouts were becoming too much. And I was informed that, Madam, you see, Gaba substation, which serves Munyonyo, Kansanga, Chirudu, you know, all those people is being worked on. Said, okay, we are replacing a transformer, which is a good thing. I had to go to Gaba with the Tino, and Kauju was there, and I found a lady with the machine trying to fix. I was excited, but my question to Mr. Kauju was, did you communicate? He said they had communicated. And I demanded for effective communication to save us. So the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, working with the agencies, we must communicate effectively. This is what I'm demanding from you. You will sit and tell me how. Okay? How can people complain of losing their items in the fridge? Yet UMEME tells me that they communicated and alerted people. Somebody from Kansanga says, oh, ebintu byaddaku byonna bifudde. You know, we are in Ramadan, but now I am going to travel. I had stocked my fridge. All the sausages are gone. And you tell me that you communicated effectively. There is a gap in communication. We have to communicate. We've been trying, I and my brother, Minister of State, to engage members of Parliament, and whenever we engaged them, they understood. And I want to thank you so much. Thank you, our foot soldiers in Parliament. I must use this opportunity to brag a bit that I think I'm the most supported minister. The most supported minister by Parliament. The most supported minister by the technical people. The most supported minister by the President, who even sometimes answers questions on my behalf. You are preparing to answer. He says, for UMEME we've done this, for energy we've done this. And I've been given the best performers. Why shouldn't I perform? The members on my committee in Parliament, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, they ask whether I'm comfortable, and then we move. When I say I'm not comfortable, we sit in a meeting. An amazing support from you people. When you hear that Uganda has the best regulator on the continent, why wouldn't we see a smooth transition with this regulator who has been regulating the system being in Uganda? If your permanent secretary is announced as the best permanent secretary, how can you be the worst minister? Okay? everybody. And I must be thankful to you for taking me as your student, and you feel free to really be my tutors, and you've been making the tutorials. The ministers of state, the Minister of State for Mineral Development takes me as her mother. Who can dare annoy her mother? Who? Who can dare annoy? Even the Bible talks about it. Even the Quran. When you are loving and you are portioning, you have to add more to the mother. That's what the Quran says. So I am standing here to really communicate to you my feelings and my support. The rest will be okay. I've been communicating in the most simple way for everybody to understand, and this is what the president requires. If you are installing a transformer, you have to tell people that there is no diversion where a customer will continue using power as we install this transformer. That diversion, we find it on the roads. Road diverted. You take the diversion, you still reach where you are going. But with electricity, I have to switch you off. So dear colleagues, members of parliament, this intermittent power of recent, which has increased, it is because UMEME's activities of recent also increased to be able to complete the incomplete work. So this line is switched off because there is some work going on. Another line somewhere, and another line somewhere. This is the period, the season now to fix things so that UMEME lives with a clean, sheet. So it is what we call that inconvenience, which is consequential from what is taking place. If we can communicate to public, they will be able to understand. And so the frustrations will be contained. I've been communicating that obviously UMEME's service has been expensive. The chairperson of the board has agreed. But at that season, which was comprised of the unknown, any business person will make sure that they de-risk their business. So they had to de-risk their business, and so the concession had provisions that were de-risking their business. And so we are moving away from that because we are now sure government is going to put in money. Sigwa has been allowed to borrow. They are the ones who have actually borrowed the $50 million US. It's borrowed by Mwesigwa, not the ministry. It is Mwesigwa who has borrowed this money. And once we the shareholders allow Mwesigwa to borrow, we are de-risking because he has to make sure that the rotten poles are replaced, that the transformers which are no longer serving the huge load are replaced. Everything else is done. And now the regulator is careful in making sure that in the tariff we have some portion to sustain the system. This is a better situation, which was not there when UMEME was taking over. So shareholders in UMEME had to sweat and get money and pump in money into the service delivery. So with you, government, because you are holding that company on behalf of government, where your minister is the majority shareholder, you are lucky that your shareholders sit in the cabinet. Women's shareholders were not sitting in the cabinet. No. Your shareholders are members of parliament. They interface with the parliament, whose duty is to appropriate enough funds for this sector. So you're lucky. So we will be able to handle that. And I've been communicating, therefore, that we expect even power to be more affordable. And today, before we receive the assets, the chairperson, the regulator, is going to tell us this good announcement where tariffs have been reduced. From today or from 31st midnight? From 31st of midnight going forward, what the regulator is going to announce today will work. And that has seen us a saving of 250 billion shillings as government. That clapping is not enough. It's not enough. Because this is what we want. I've talked about power reliability. When I tell you that Mwesigwa is going to borrow, for me that means power is going to be more reliable. You'll be able to have a rapid response unit. Your stores must be full. Your people must be full of energy to run around. A challenge of vandalism. The challenge of vandalism. Pastor Sempa, have you been praying? Vandalism. Okay? Vandalism. Can you pray that Jesus visits these people like he visited Zakayo, who was up in that tree? This was the sermon yesterday as I was in Ikako representing the president. The sermon was very good. Zakayo was in the tree, and when Jesus visited him and told him, come down immediately, when he came down, he just said, my Lord, every person that I have injured, I will pay 4 times, and I'm going to return this, and I will take a portion of all my things, take back. People who are vandalizing are on that tree. They must come down. They must come down and leave that habit of stealing, cutting down poles. That is something where I have just received another directive from the president to work with the UPDF and the rest to make sure that we curb this. But I gave guidance to UEDCL when we had the annual general meeting. Please take this seriously. So today we are going to announce the savings, but these savings can again be swept into making good of what the vandals have done. You know, replacing poles and all that. So you move 5 steps forward and 2 steps backward. When will you reach the land of 100% access to power, clean power, and 100% power reliability, and 100% affordable power, when you are, you know, entertaining people who are stealing our poles. So I want to end by sincerely appreciating UMEME. I've been appreciating you. Sometimes I've been acting as your spokesperson because I understood the background. Instead, I've been around for some time in Parliament and Cabinet, and I have witnessed many policies being enacted and formulated by Cabinet. So I know the background, and my thanks to you has been sincere because I know. Patrick, I've been calling you this last leg, which almost put my people, you know, you've been waiting for Auditor General to get the money. The money has come. Where are you paying the money? This known thing had those challenges. Because it was a known thing, we were able to go through the challenges. Money went to the right account, right people, and I think they acknowledge receipt, and that's why we are here comfortably seated, waiting to receive the assets and the network from UMEME. So the chair of the board will be coming. I can't thank Honorable Okasai enough. Honorable Okasai's way of communicating is a tool that we have been using. I mean, unless you have something wrong, it's very difficult to really jump on his head after he has made a communication. The man is so humble and is an elder. So to have both attributes. And he worked with me when I was a minister in agriculture, when he was a director in charge of crop. So we are working together. So when the president appointed him as my Minister of State, I knew that we were going to work together anyway. So I'm standing here to appreciate and to say that I know that you are in the constituency, that you are going to contest again. I just want to have a look at the person who is going to compete with you. Have a chat with him, really. Because you are mastering the sector, critical sector, and then somebody says, "Hello, vayo, get away." You know, sometimes this politics is funny, very funny. So I want to declare my support to you without fear or favor. Anyway, me, I'm not going to contest, so nobody can come and revenge on me. I'm not going to contest. I told you my constituency is Uganda, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, where I will be, and I will be accessible, and I'll be moving with my team. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the regulator. Thank you, UEDCL, the people who sell this power in bulk to UMEME, now to Mwesigwa. Yes, you are now sons of the same mother. You share the same shareholders. I don't expect anything that will make you not work together. Even where you have conflicts, you'll be like Aboluganda. Those conflicts should not be injurious to our system, to our business. You are members of the same family. We will find a way of communicating to the staff who are not here. I want a system where the staff will be receiving messages from me, the minister, because what they are inheriting is not something to joke around with. I have to keep communicating to them, reminding them that when you do well, you've secured your tenure. Minus that, I have no relationship with you. If you are not delivering, no relationship with you, you will go. There are many Ugandans out there who are crying that Mwesigwa has not taken them on. They are crying, but there is no way Mwesigwa would have taken everybody. This is not a merger of UMEME and UEDCL. It's not a merger. It's a transition which is likely to leave some people out. And so there are those people who are out, 191, whom we have not taken on. But we know them, that they are there. They are on our special list. If there is any need, somebody sleeping on job, I can assure you, we will not tolerate you. You will go home. And this contract is tagged to the merger. If the merger of the three companies comes in 1 year, your contract stops there. But it doesn't mean that you have no chance. If you've been performing, we merge with you. We take you on. If not been performing, we say, hey, this one, let us drop this one. Because you are many. So your contracts are tagged on the merger or beyond. But I'll have to make sure that this merger appears when we are ready. I'll not accept to be forced to merge. I'll be doing a disservice to this country. This I've been telling the cabinet, I've been telling the Minister of Public Service. This ministry is going through major reforms, critical reforms. Before Mwesigwa sits in and, sits on his chair, you want me to bring in Karamaji, to merge Mwesigwa with Karamaji, and Mutikanga, those ones you don't know what they come up with. Mwesigwa, Karamaji, Mutikanga. Okay? So this, I am standing here to really assure the country that the policy to merge is good. It comes with advantages and disadvantages. It comes with a cost where you'll be forced to pay or compensate. But the summation of all that, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, because the savings that were calculated are far bigger than, those disadvantages that I have enumerated. But for this critical sector, the regulator calls it live service. It's like you are handling people's lives, in your hands. It is a live network. It is off, the repercussions are bigger. I have been pleading that we grow the merger. We don't rush, we grow the merger until such a time when new systems are in place, technology, ICT in place, and then you say we are good to go. We have fully gone on to the network. I will continue pursuing this. So I will be going to cabinet after this function, and I want to say that I was surprised the function became bigger. PS, you didn't tip me. I thought it was going to be a small thing, Patrick, but it is big this early morning of Monday. Thank you so much for turning up. It has been a short notice because we wanted to do it before midnight of 31st. And for us now, internal, we had planned to sit here at midnight and see. I don't know whether that plan is still there. It's on. We are going to be in the room on the SCADA to witness. For the first time in my life, I'm going to witness this. So my team, small team that has been invited, we shall still be here and receive the Mogole together. But this one was big thing. Dr. Litho, Patricia, and your team, thank you so much. You've surprised me. I think it was befitting even to put it live coverage. UBC, I know that I've communicated to the people of Kumi and also the people of Chigoga as well. And the entire, because UBC goes to those rural areas. So thank you for this arrangement. We've used it very well to communicate. The communication from UMEME, which I'm sure some people had not known the load that UMEME had been carrying, the preparedness, the fact that the PS introduced our advisor on this transition, who are not black like me. Can you please stand up for further recognition? Our advisors that have advised me during this transition. So we have not been working alone. We've tried to make sure that we involve many stakeholders. So with these few words, I would like to end here, thanking you so much, and invite our regulator to come and do the statutory duty of announcing the new tariffs. The CEO, the CEO gave a background. So Sarah, please stick to the announcement of the tariffs and what it means in their respective categories. Thank you so much. We will be told what next, how we are going to do it. Thank you very much.
What a great day. Our chief guest, the Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, the members of Parliament present, my State Minister for Energy, the PS, my colleagues, the board chairpersons in the sector, the representative of the Auditor General, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. With a profound sense of duty and responsibility, we gather here this afternoon rather, to mark a significant milestone in the evolution of Uganda's electricity supply industry. And I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, who will be taking over the mandate to manage the distribution network effective midnight tonight. I'll also extend my sincere appreciation to UMEME Limited for the dedicated service rendered to this country over the past 20 years. The statistics illustrate where we began the journey from, and the progress achieved to date indicate that government took a prudent decision to bring UMEME on board. Thank you. Your contribution has laid a strong foundation for the continued development of the sector. Thank you very much, UMEME. In that same spirit of continuity and progress, I'm honored, in a line with the Electricity Act, to announce that the Electricity Regulatory Authority has approved the electricity end-user tariffs to be charged by UEDCL for the supply of electricity during the period April to June 2025, effective midnight tonight. In arriving at the end-user tariffs, I'm going to announce what the authority considered and the major assumptions. One, demand. We expect the demand to grow at an annual rate of 10.4% in 2025. The second assumption is that UMEME Limited license for distribution and supply of electricity and the concession agreement expires by midnight today. The third assumption is that the quarterly tariff adjustment methodology implemented by the authority since 2014 and the subsequent years, which adjusts the annual base tariff for changes in inflation, exchange rate, international fuel prices, and other costs approved by the Electricity Regulatory Authority, will continue to be implemented in the year 2025. 4. The Uganda shilling has appreciated against the United States dollar of shillings 3,689.10 used in determining the retail tariff for the first quarter of this year to now shillings 3,679.73 as of February 2028, as published by the Bank of Uganda. This represents an appreciation of the shilling of 0.25%. Assumption 5 is that UEDCL tariff performance targets for 2025 following the license for sale and distribution of electricity issued to them will continue to hold. 6. We shall continue to review the implementation of the public amenities customer category. The public amenities customer category includes street lighting, hospitals, and cooking for institutions. 7.
We shall continue to review the composition of the medium and large industrial customer categories to provide separate customer categories for electricity consumers involved in manufacturing compared to those who are providing services. The next assumption is that we shall continue the implementation of measures to reduce the electricity end user tariff for manufacturers pegged on predetermined demand growth targets for the year 2025. Next is that we shall continue the implementation of the declining block tariff structure for large industrial manufacturing customers for the tariff year 2025. There will be cessation of the declining block tariff structure for the extra large industrial customer category effective midnight tonight. There will be continued implementation of the domestic cooking tariff of Uganda shillings 412 per unit to encourage domestic consumers to cook using electricity between the 81st and the 150th unit of electricity consumed monthly. Now, following a thorough review of the application along with the public feedback received during the publication period and the public hearing that was held, the authority has approved the following end-user tariffs. 1. Lifeline tariff will be shillings 250 per unit for qualifying domestic customers. These are customers who will consume up to only 100 units. So beyond 100, you don't qualify for lifeline tariffs. 2 is domestic tariff. This is now the cost-reflective tariff. It will be 756 shillings and 2 cents per unit for other domestic consumers beyond the first 15 units. Now, we have the commercial tariff. This will be 546 shillings and 4 cents per unit. Medium industrial tariff will be 355 shillings and 1 cent per unit. The service will be shillings. The public service will be, the amenities will be, no, for manufacturing. Then for the service under manufacturing will be 412 shillings and 5 cents per unit. The large industrial customer tariffs. Block 1 will be shillings 304 cents per unit. Block 2, which is a declining block tariff, will be shillings 282 and 9 cents per unit. The large consumer tariffs, the services will be 348 shillings and 7 cents. The extra large industrial tariff will be shillings 203 and 6 cents per unit. The public amenities tariff, the hospitals, the cooking and so on, the universities, will be shillings 360 per unit. Now, all other charges remain unchanged. The connection charges and all those others will remain unchanged. A detailed tariff table has been provided at the end of this statement for further appreciation, and the UEDCL will be required to publish this effective midnight tonight. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Electricity Regulatory Authority remains committed to ensuring continuity of electricity supply and fostering a sustainable and self-sufficient electricity subsector that supports Uganda's vision for total socio-economic transformation. I take this opportunity to thank my Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development and her colleagues, the state ministers, and the entire technical team of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, headed by the Permanent Secretary, the sector players and electricity customers for the continued support that has enabled us to perform our delegated mandate. Finally, through you, Honorable Minister, allow me to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for always prioritizing the energy sector and giving us excellent support that we receive at the various levels of decision making. For God and my country, I submit. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, allow me guide as follows. First of all, I would like to thank you and all the previous speakers, the ERA Chair and CEO and the Permanent Secretary. We are now going to do the official handover, which is going to be outside at the red carpet, and my colleague Jonan is there to handle that session. Honorable Minister, we shall have yourself, the Minister of State for Energy and the Permanent Secretary representing the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. We shall have UMEME Board Chair and CEO who will hand over to you, and then you'll hand over to the regulator. So I'm requesting the Board Chair, ERA, and CEO to be present. They will be on your right. And then ERA will hand over to UEDCL. So I'm requesting the UEDCL Board Chair and CEO to step at the red carpet. My colleague Jonan is over there to guide on those arrangements and how we'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to be patient. After the official handover, we'll have photography, Q&A, but we do have breakfast right at the back of the tent, the refreshments. Do not let it go to waste, but just allow the official handover and we'll guide accordingly. So can I request that we allow, plus of course the fourth estate, can I also acknowledge that we are not only live on UBC, we are live on NBS and also live streaming on YouTube. We thank you so much, the fourth estate, for the support as we get ready to hand over. I'll guide once again. For the official handover, we need UMEME, the Board Chair and CEO, who will hand over to the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, represented by the Minister herself, the Minister of State for Energy, Honorable Okasai Opolot, the Permanent Secretary, Engineer Batebe. The Minister of Energy will hand over to the regulator, represented by the Board Chair and CEO. The regulator will hand over to UEDCL, represented by the Board Chair and CEO. We thank you once again. Once again, I acknowledge all the sector players, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, the generator, UEDCL, the transmitter, UEDCL, the distributor, of course, taking over, the regulator, all the sector players, the Auditor General's Office, Ministry of Finance, of course, the fourth estate, who have all the UMEME staff, who have I left behind. I acknowledge and I appreciate the support and your presence today, braving this morning after the Eid celebrations. We are most grateful. Over to you, Jonan. Jonan is still arranging the team at the red carpet. Thank you.
Side. Yeah, the minister. But I would can go the other side.
I'll encourage the front row here to quietly walk to the back and start to have your breakfast, if you will. We'll have the ushers guiding. If you'd like to join in the refreshments, quietly walk around the tent and we have the refreshments available as the red carpet event happens. Jonan, over to you to update us on what's happening on the red carpet. Thank you.
Hello. Government is now handing over the system to the regulator to see what to do with it. She will tell us. Of course, taking over from UMEME back to government and then to UEDCL.
And the money comes to these meters.
Then these are the meters that will make sure that we get money from the electrons. The cables that will transmit the electrons. Further aluminium wire that with it. It's your turn now.
By virtue of entrusted to me by the Electricity Act, I now hand over these symbolic items to Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited from the Honorable Minister, who received it from the private player, UMEME, who has been running the sector for the last 20 years, UEDCL. So all these gadgets, effective from midnight tonight, use them to run the sector efficiently and make sure there is financial viability. Thank you. Wish you all the best.
Mr. Mwesigwa, your work begins tonight.
Thank you very much. We shall serve the Ugandans. Thank you.
Let's have a group photo. One side forward.
Right, Chiwedde UMEME egaddewo emirimu gyayo esigadde ndowooza mu underground nekwasa UEDCL, Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. Byonna bya gavumenti. Batulira mulinga musege. Kwa bitatula badde akulira UMEME wa gavumenti. Nego bawadde akulira UEDCL naye wa gavumenti. Gamba bana abayayo. Bewadde omusimbi baddamu mu gavumenti ne begabira guno omusimbi bagugabira ne baguze ne bagucanga wali ne batukuba omupiira nti waliwo enkyukakyuka ezijja. Kale, we appreciate UMEME. Thank you for the work done. Let's wait for UEDCL, what you're gonna do. But please, please, please help us stop the load shedding. Stop that. Look for all the ways to give us power without load shedding. Because Uganda is somewhere where Ugandans need electricity, need power 12/7. We need power all day, all night, all week, all a month, all a year. Why do we have days where power is off? Bro, work on that. You have a lot of money. If it means to dig underground and put your cables there, please do that for Ugandans to get a better service. All right. Yeah, you must do it. Whether you want or no, we are your bosses. We are your customers, and you must serve us to the best.